setup for my bench is going to look exactly the same every time, bar or top set. Different kind of trains of thought: feet flat, feet tucked, feet out in front, underneath you. All of that is going to be based upon your flexibility. Obviously, goal is to always lift the most amount of weight, decrease the range of motion. So the more of an arch that you can have, the better off, the shorter your stroke will be, and the better, ideally, bench you have, okay? But some people can't, so I'll show you mine, and then I'll walk you through it, but this is mine. Oh, my hips are tight.
So you're setting the upper body first, and then setting the...
Yeah, so I set my upper body first, and then grab the bar. So
when you're setting up, what are you trying to do with like your shoulder blades and your lats, and can you describe what's going on with your upper back?
So the first thing, like I keep saying, shorten your range of motion, right? So no one is benching like a bodybuilder. We don't care about big pecs, right? So we're not doing this to build pecs, right? We want to make sure that we are getting our lats, our upper back, and our rear delts involved in our bench, right? How do you do that? You have to load them. You have to load them properly, right? So you're not out here doing kind of this thing, right? You want to make sure that you're getting into that position, right? Your shoulder blade, you're trying to retract your shoulders back and down, right? So if you just hold your arms out, you hold your arms out, go ahead, it's okay, right? You pull your arms back and then down. Look how short of a stroke you have now. Normal, back down. You can take anywhere, you can take 6 inches off your stroke if you do it properly, right? So that position is where you need to be before you even touch the bar. So if you notice, I'm getting into this position like this before I even put my feet on the ground or before I even touch the bar. So when I get my feet set, right, I'm already in this position. If I were to be flat back, look how long my arms are.
So a couple things I want you guys to see too is just like, see how it just go like a band position. So the armpit's not closed off anymore, and he's really, so then he's retucking. You see how the armpit starts to close off, and I can see he's got a lot more tension in his lats now.
Right.
You see his hands drop too.
Not everyone can get in this position, right? Some people will be here, some people will be here, wherever, right? Some people can arch harder than this, right? This is just where my legs allow me to go and my hip flexors. So,
a couple things with the feet that I've noticed, your knee should be below your hip, and I'd say probably any style. So you can see like how his knee is below his hip, so that he's keeping his glutes engaged, he's getting a stretch through here. So whether you're flat or tucked, I find that the feet flat's a little bit more stable, but it might limit your arch a little bit. So you gotta play with what's.
You gotta play with it, and you gotta feel what works for you. I know I have longer arms. It helps in my deadlift, but sucks on my bench. So I want to try and get my range of motion to be as short as possible, because if not, that's a long way to go, right? But if I can get tucked in a good position, now I'm only coming here. There goes my hat. All right, some other things that you may not or may get overlooked, whether you're gear lifting or not. Your legs should be involved in your bench. It's a full body movement, just like a squat is, just like a deadlift is. All right. So if your hips and glutes aren't sore after you bench, then you're not using your legs properly, right? There's a couple of trains of thought on how to do it. I know me personally, after I get set up, I am trying to break the bench with my legs. So I'm squeezing the bench as hard as I can, and that is going to get my leg drive and my legs involved, right? So that's why I like to be closer and tucked, because out here, I don't have that same ability to squeeze the bench, right? But if you are going to bench out wide like this, your train of thought to get your legs involved is no longer squeezing, but actually pushing your knees out. So people who bench feet out, right, they're thinking about driving their knees out, kind of like when you're squatting. And that's going to get your lower body involved.
Unwrapping. So a lot of people mess up the unwrapping.
Yes. So unwrapping on your bench, I think is equally, if not more important than your unwrapping on your squat. You did all that work to get your arch, right? To make sure that your stroke is nice and short. You're here, right? And then the thing that I see everyone do is they do that.
Press it out, yeah.
Now, what happened to my back? No arch, and I'm completely flat. So now, all that work, I just totally negated it, right? So, when you're unracking a bench, you need to think of it as you're not lifting up, you're actually doing a row, or a front raise. But you're doing a front raise this way. So you're not lifting up, you're just kind of doing, you're keeping your lats engaged and rowing the bar right here. So it's gonna look like that. So now my hands, my arch is still good, my everything's tucked, and my lats are engaged. If they're not, then I'm gonna be in this position, and I don't wanna be all the way up there. Right, everyone see, like, not engaged, locked in. So that took, I don't know how long that is, but you're taking 6 inches, if possible, off your stroke, if you're unwrapping properly. Right, so it's not up and out, it's just row it over your spot.
So as you got a start command or whatever, the weight's settled, what are you thinking about on the descent? So obviously, now with the shirt, you're gonna have some resistance, right?
Yeah, so obviously if you're benching raw, right, there's nothing stopping you. The shirt is stopping you from doing this, okay? If you have even a half decent shirt and you try and do anything with lightweight, you're gonna pull and it's just gonna stop like that, okay? But the worst thing that you can do is either not tuck enough or tuck too hard. And that's gonna come by getting reps in the shirt. So your first movement, right, when you have the bar, shouldn't be elbows out. Your first movement should actually be a row towards your stomach. So it's not this, it's actually...
Just freeze the elbows out again. So you see how the armpit's not closed off anymore. So he's kind of lost that tension in his lats, okay? But then if he does that little row motion, you can see his armpit is still closed off, wrist is stacked. He tucks too hard, now the wrist is not stacked anymore, and that's going to put you in a funky position.
Yeah, so if you tuck too hard, you actually end up in this position.
And you can see now the angle is here instead of just now being a good position on the bottom. And you can see that you have that nice vertical forearm, so that's going to be able to transfer force a lot better.
So it's not this, right? When you're in any kind of shirt, whether it's single ply or multi-ply, you're going to touch probably lower than you normally would. So don't be alarmed if you touch and you're top of your abs, right? Because look at the position of my elbows.
He's still stacked, and he's got a good, so you get a good power transfer through here. That's that wrist and elbow, because it's just like you kind of want the knee over the ankle, tracking the foot. We kind of want a good relationship with the wrist and the elbow. We want a good stacked vertical forearm in the bottom.
A couple other things, breathing wise. I have to take 2 breaths on a bench. I can't only take 1 like on a squat because I'll pass out and drop weight on my face. I don't want to do that. So my breathing is very simple. I always have my handoff guy count down. So he'll give me 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, whatever.
So the set process, there's good communication, it's always the same. So they kind of know.
I like 3, 2, 1, and as soon as I hear 1, I'm taking a breath. Again, just like when you're squatting, that breath isn't going into my chest. So you actually be able to see it better here.
Into your belly raised up.
It's going into my ribs. So look at my belly button. Right? That right there is also shortening my stroke, but it's also keeping me tight. So 3, 2, 1, breath, row it out. I will take another breath here.
Are you trying to you're talking about the wedge. Can you explain how the wedge works on the bench? And obviously you want to try and get your belly up as high as possible.
Mm-hmm. Just like when we're squatting, we're not taking a breath here and getting into this position. We're trying to bring everything down and compact it down, bring your lats into your obliques and all that. And you're trying to force, easiest way to think of it for me is you try to bring your belly button out. Try to push your belly button out. Whether you bench with a belt or not, right? You can, you can't, doesn't matter. You want to try and force your belly button through your belt, whether you have a belt or not. So, you're here, right? And it's not into my chest like that, because nothing's here. This isn't tight, right? But when you get it and you brace, it's that. And that tightness is what's keeping your lats tight, but also giving you the air and the compression that you need to make sure that you're staying in the position that you need to be.